It's the Standard Pauper Show, only on MagicGatheringStrat.com, starring me, Brennan, as the lovable host. And again, joining me, special guest, Vault Boy Hunter. I call him Sam. You'll call him Sir. Anyway, welcome, Sam.
Hello, you guys can call me Sam. It's fine.
Oh, well.
Sir is really formal.
If you insist. Well, I want to start off by saying welcome, because this is our inaugural episode on the new site, MagicGatheringStrat.com. Yep, that's right. Name so awesome on YouTube. We got our own site on the internet webs. Anyway, we'll be having the same kind of activities there. Lots of articles. I believe, Sam, you'll be writing an article.
I'm going to be writing some articles in my kind of casual, moderately spiky way. I'm going to do at least one this weekend, and I have a kind of big announcement that I think we're going to be putting up on Monday. That's going to be totally worth everybody checking out. If you're interested in having a lot of fun with the new site. So, yeah, check it out. It's going to be great.
I highly recommend it. I've had a little preview of it myself. It looks awesome. Alright, let's get this show on the road. What happened this week in Standard Pauper? It's MPDC 25, Season 25. Game 2? Episode 2? It's kind of, I don't even know what to call that. Anyway. 29 players, 24 decks reported, 4 rounds of Swiss. Let's see who came in first. Dr. Ors, it's an Orzhov deck by RRR. 726. Man, I cannot talk this evening. Second place was a green-white heroic. The 2 fourth place winners are Boros and a it's a black mono black deck, then mono black, then mono black, then Esper, and then mono black. I think there's a theme going here, but let's talk about the winner, Dr. Ors. Oromancers, Basilica Screecher, Disciple of Phoenix, Grey Merchant seems really familiar. The thing I like here is the Scholar of Athros. I would put more than one, but obviously he's doing something right. Lots of good cards here. Oromancer gets back Stab Wound, Font of Return, Quag Sickness. Very, very, very useful. Also, I think Disciple of Phoenix, right? It's an enchantment creature. Is that right, Sam?
Font of Return just returns 3 creatures from your graveyard to your hand.
Right.
So it can really just put you down on anything in the deck. So, I mean, it's a really strong utility card, it seems, in Standard Pauper right now, because it has a fairly unique effect. March of the Return is the only thing that's similar. It's actually costed a little bit better, and it has more interaction with the Oromancers, so I actually quite like it. So.
Oh, yeah. Font of Return, great card. Really wrecked my world the other day when I was playing. Someone was playing against me, and they had Font of Return. The font that gives you, lets you draw cards, the one in the blue.
Inspiration?
Yep, Font of Inspiration. Yeah. And they also, what was the last one? It was I don't think it was the white one. I'm trying to think what that last one was. It was either the red, which deals 5 to your face, which is awful.
Font of Ire.
Oh, yeah, Lava Axe. Anyway, let's talk about the opening hand. It's 2 swamps, Basilica Screecher, Devour Flesh, Font of Return, Keening Apparition, and Quag Sickness. I can only say I would keep this because, my goodness, you have
I think
pretty strong start.
It's a touch slow, but I'm pretty ballsy on my opening hand, so I would definitely keep it. I mean, it's got removal, a 2-drop. I like it. So
that's what I was thinking too. I would probably run out just. If I knew nothing, if I was on the play, I would have to see what I got next to figure out, because it's obviously going to be, you have your 2 drops here, and I'm not counting on the Keening anytime soon, just because I know I've got black mana, and my luck is that I'll get mana screwed. So I'm going to count on just these 3 middle cards, and it's really going to depend on what I get next. to what I play first, seeing what they're playing. But let's take a look at the next 6 cards in the deck, see if we are rewarded for this keep without any white mana. Well, first card would make me a little sad, but the second card, I am now casting everything but 1 in my opening hand, so that's making me happy there. Another Devour Flesh, another Swamp Plains, and Orzhov Gilgate. Well, floods a little bit, but I think this turns out pretty good for us in the long run.
I think, I mean, you're in a pretty good situation on turn 5 and against most decks because a lot of standard Pauper doesn't really reach critical mass of creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but you have the Disciple on turn 4 if you're kind of sequencing your plays correctly, you probably have 2 to 3, maybe even as high as 5 Devotion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're probably looking at their entire hand, cherry picking the best thing. And you have 3 removal spells. I mean, that's not a bad place to be. So.
Yeah, no kidding. Looks good. Let's take a look at the mana curve. Heavy on the 3 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops, and then a 4 and a 5. But the 5 is ye old Gary. 4 is the Disciple. Pretty good. Obviously at 1, and I think the curve, the amount of lands that were in the deck support the curve, and seems to do just fine.
It's nice to see a standard Pauper deck running 24 lands.
Yeah.
A lot of them get risky, run 22, 20, so...
Yep. It's I'm never a fan of risking less than 20 lands. I know a lot of people that run the low 1 to 2 drop red deck wins. They're like, oh, I can run 18 lands. Like, really? You sure about that? I realize that you're going to be dumping out your hand pretty quick, but if you have no late game at all and anyone can stall you for just a little bit of time, you're going to need something more than just a bunch of 1-drops. But, hey, they can play whatever they feel like playing.
Yeah, I think it's classic Pauper. I think you can get away with it, or just regular Pauper, like Delver running 16 or whatever. But the luxury of that does not exist. There are no free draw spells in standard Pauper. So
that's true. All right. Well, it's that time of year again, Sam. It's spoiler time. It happens. Actually, this time it's happened a lot. We've had more spoilers in the past year than I can remember.
Just since January, there's been 4.
Yeah.
This will be the 5th set that has come out. When you stop and think about that, like, I remember between 4th edition and Ice Age, it was like a year and a half without a set or something. It was insane. I mean, that's going way, way back, but it's nice that they're giving so many options. So
it is pretty cool. All right, let's look at the first one in 15. Sorry, these pictures aren't so great. They're basically copies of copies, and I got them off of Mythic Spoiler. It's a great site. They do a really good job of keeping up with what's going on in the world of spoilers. First one, 3 white. Meditation Puzzle. I don't speak slowly. I will mispronounce all of those. Instant. Convoke. Bringing that mechanic back. You gain 8 life. I'm not a fan of just straight up you gain life spells. But can it work with Convoke? I still don't think that tapping... Okay, let's say you had enough to tap completely and not pay one single bit of mana for this. So, are you willing to tap 5 of your creatures? You can do it at the end of their turn, obviously, just to gain 8 life.
Am I? Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing in my mind, it's good against one deck, mono red, and mono red is also the best prepared to pick off your dudes
right.
to keep you from being able to cast it for free. And the only way it's playable is if you're casting it for 0.
Right. Yeah, and I would never, ever pay 5 mana for 8 life.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a couple cards in Standard right now that let you time to feed. You gain 3 life and you kill a creature. I mean...
That's awesome.
I mean, it's so much more effective. I know it's green and it's not exact translation of cards, but... I mean, it's way better. So, life gain for the sake of life gain, it just spins your wheels. It's nice when it's tacked on to functional cards, but that's not this situation. So
no, not at all. If it did something else, anything else, I think I would consider it. Maybe if it dropped a token or 3.
Yeah, just something.
Anything else.
Anything else. Draw a card.
Destroyed. Enchant, exile, cycle, anything. Yeah, something.
Scry 1.
Discard a card.
Even a drawback would make it a more interesting card. I'm pretty sure it's mediation puzzle.
Mediation? What did I say? Meditation?
You said meditation.
Meditation. It's meditation.
You're right.
Not that I couldn't be wrong. Trust me.
I could be wrong too.
I say words incorrectly.
I barely say words.
Yeah, you mostly just guttural noises is what I'm mostly good at.
Grunting and pointing.
We're gonna start beating sticks together to ward off evil spirits.
Yes, I worship the sun and live in a cave. Okay.
Okay, next one. Marked by on 3 and a white. Enchantment or enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance. 4 mana to give it +2/+2 and vigilance. Now this reminds me of Mark of the Vampire, which gives +2/+2 and lifelink. I like that a lot. Is vigilance worth it? So, what are we doing here? We are basically giving it an Observant Alseid for 1 less mana? Is that right? Is Observant Alseid 4 and a white?
I'll gather it real quick.
Gatherer. Oh, they just changed Gatherer. That's a different interface.
It's horrible looking on my phone.
You know what you can't search for? Conspiracy.
What?
Yeah, isn't that weird? If you go to set right now, there's no option to choose Conspiracy.
It's not even on the new list either. Observant.
Isn't that right? The Vigilant Alseid.
I think it is. There it is. It is 5, yeah.
Yep. So, I think I'm just keeping Observant Alseid in my deck and foregoing this right here.
I think so too. I mean, just the simple fact that if anything happens to your creature, you get that 2/2 Vigilant guy. I mean, that's really good. I think Marked by Honor could be some weird rotation card if Hexproof stays a thing. But I'm fingers crossed that they're not going to Hexproof us in M15. I'll have to kind of just move away from that mechanic in the base set. So, I mean, they only printed 2 Hexproof cards in M14, and really only 1 sees play, but it's still very frustrating because there's very few tools to answer it in Standard Pauper. So,
Yep. Oh well. I'm gonna give this one a pass for now. Yeah, probably just passing on it. Okay, next one. Shadowcloak Vampire. I'm gonna take this off real quick. So it's not really put more on. There we go. Alright, Shadowcloak Vampire. 4 and a black. For a vampire, oddly enough, pay 2 life. Vampire gains flying until end of turn. So it is a 4/3 for 5 mana that you can give flying for the cost of 2 life. That's going to be a hard sell.
I see it as limited fodder, unfortunately. I'm looking up something I think is a strong comparison. 1 second. That everybody in the world seems to love, even though I'm never a huge fan. For 3 and a red, you get a 3/2 Intimidate Blade Tusk Boar. And I would just be so much happier casting a Blade Tusk Boar.
Yeah, Intimidate. It's pretty good.
You play it and you swing. And you don't have to pay 2 life. And unless there's some weird self-harm theme in M15, I just don't see it being a real card.
Maybe they bring back that card that those, what's the old common that gained back all life that you lost this turn?
I do not know.
Because if you have 2 of them out, let's say you knock yourself down by 18 life, you pay, I think they're Daru something, but then you sack that creature, get that 18 life back, and then you pay it again. This worked with the, there is creatures that you can use the Phyrexian mana to pump it, and then you could pump yourself down another 18, and then you sack another one, and you get 36 life back because you have lost a total of 36 life. So I don't see them ever bringing back that card, but yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one. Just not good enough. All right, here's one that I think I'm more excited about than I should be, and Sam, you can bring me back down from this cloud 9 that I'm on. But Triplicate Spirits. It's 4 white. So 6 mana for a sorcery, but it has Convoke. You can put 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So it's the same cost as a. Let's see how many. I guess it's even more than a Lingering Souls flashback. Because I think Lingering Souls flashback is 5.
Yeah, it's 1 more.
1 more. But you get 1 less token.
But you get to stay all white.
Yeah, you do. Your board would have to be pretty thick already.
Right.
And if it was thick enough that you could tap, let's say 3 of them, 3 creatures, so that you could take down to a casting cost of 3.
That's great.
It is great, and you get those 3 creatures back that you just tapped. But is it worth it in the long run? I don't know. I want to like this card so much because I could see some sort of Soul Sistery, White Weenie, something happen here that I don't know. Maybe it can work. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it gets better the second, the third you cast, obviously.
Right.
The more of them you cast throughout the course of the game, the better it is. It costs as much as 2 Spectral Possessions for only 3 tokens, but in Standard Pauper, it actually, it's a built-in 3 or 2 for 1, basically, because you're spending a card that negates one of the tokens, you get 2 more tokens. It's not a bad card. And Convoke, from what I remember from OG Ravnica, it's actually a really useful mechanic. I know they played around with it a little for Time Spiral block, but I don't know how big of a splash it had because I wasn't playing then. But I think it has potential. It really depends on what type of support it gets in the set. Like if they move white back to just weenies for their main source of creatures, I think it could have legs. If they're going kind of big again, mid-game type of creatures like a 4 to 5 casting cost, it's probably not going to really be all that great. So
right, what I'm thinking is that they are going to. I think the entire Cons of Drakir is probably going to revolve around weenie / horde mentality. So this may get better when the next set comes out. So I think, if nothing else, it's something to keep our eye on.
I looked up that card. It's Children of Corliss.
That's it, Children of Corliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that card.
I could not remember it. You gain life equal to the life you've lost this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do some shenanigans with that.
Yeah. Like I was saying, you can lose a tremendous amount. Oh, and what was that? There used to be the rule that you basically didn't die until the end of your turn if you had 0 life.
I call it the Zarin Orb rule.
Yeah.
Because that card saved my life so many times. Sacrifice a land, sacrifice a land, sacrifice a land. Games lasted for hours.
Yeah, but they don't have that anymore.
No. Never again. It would be a mythic.
Right.
Sacrifice 6 lands, gain a life.
No, that's terrible.
That's so bad.
Alright, and here's the removal we should all start getting used to. Flesh to Dust. 3 black, instant, destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. Hope everybody loves these high cost instant remove spells, because you're going to have to start getting used to them.
A fun little fact, the last time a new card, not a reprint, a new card that said it cannot be regenerated was printed in black, destroy target creature, it cannot be regenerated, was original Ravnica, and it was Brain Spoil.
Really?
Yes.
That long ago?
There has been reprints since then of things like Terminate and Petrify. But when did Petrify come out? Was that in Dissension? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Okay.
Because that might actually be the last time it was printed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, think about that for a second. That came out in what, 04? 05?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so and Brainswell had the transmute mechanic tacked onto it. Gosh.
And me without my phone. But yeah, I think this is a trend that's been going on for a while. It seems to me that they don't want any kind of removal that has no drawback or quasi-drawback to be anywhere near the 2 mana in common anymore.
Putrefy and Brainswell were both printed in Ravnica originally. The thing about it is it's not even at 5 casting cost. It's one of the least clunkiest removal spells that they printed at common since the last time they printed Doomblade at common, or even Murder, even though I didn't care for Murder all that much. And just having that clause of it cannot be regenerated, it can't be regenerated, is not a bad thing. So I can see Mono Black running a few of them, maybe not until Grizzly Spectacle rotates, though, because Spectacle is just kind of all in all better.
Right.
Less, and the mill effect is actually kind of devastating, so. And I hate it. So.
See, this right here, these kind of cards, where it's like, whoa, this is the removal we're getting? Really makes me interested in the next set, the next Cons of Trakir. Because I'm hoping, maybe it's false hope, but that they are going to keep their snazziest cards for the expansions and not put anything too crazy at common, at least.
That's what they used to do when it was all reprints. And you never got excited for a core set. I mean, you just never did. So, at least I never did. I don't know about you.
Hey, I don't want to talk about what gets me excited. It's not that kind of show. We're going to move on.
There is a Kami of false hope. You sacrifice it to prevent all combat damage dealt this turn. That sucks. Okay.
Inferno Fist. No clue how much it costs. More than 1 red. I'll say that. enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control, which is sort of an odd clause on this type. It's a +2/+2, +2/+1. An odd clause on a red enchantment. So it says red, sacrifice Infernal Fist. Infernal Fist deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So are they thinking that red deck wins with no creatures would be so interested in this card that it's willing to run a more than 1 red for 2 mana? Or excuse me, more than 1 red mana for 2 damage spell, so we would enchant the opponent's creature, sacrifice it, and kill the opponent's creature with the sacrifice effect?
Yes. They obviously are, for whatever reason. It makes me think Shock might not be getting reprinted. Which I would not
crazy.
Be all that sad about, but my thing is if it costs 1 to 3, it's actually not a bad card for a red deck. If it's any more than 3, it's probably just not playable.
Yeah.
I think 3 is marginally playable at that for the effect. I mean, it's not a horrible effect. I mean, I've seen people look at the Lightning Diadomdian card from Journey and think about playing it.
Gosh.
So I don't know why.
That card's crazy. It's way too much mana.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's move on. I like this card. Frostlinks. I wish this picture was clearer, because I want to see, because it looks kind of goofy right now. Maybe it gets better when it's all colorized. But it is Baby Frost Titan. Look at that little guy. When Frostlinks enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. How awesome is that? I think it's great. Better than your average tapper.
I like it. I think it's like pseudo detain, which is seeing a whole bunch of play right now, the detain mechanic. But I think like in blue, it's a tempo play, which blue does love to have. I wish it was an illusion. It has the illusion. So it was like a kind of a missed opportunity. It's an elemental cat or something like that.
Yep, elemental cat.
Yeah, so illusion cat. Come on, Wizards.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, but I mean, I think I really want it to be 1 in a blue and have the when its target sacrifice it.
The drawback
on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
To be on curve. It's just a little off.
I hear you. No, that'd make it an awesome card. And you'd probably put it in common.
I put it in everything. I would just build decks around it. My Frostlink deck.
Oh yeah. Yep, I like it. Okay. Covenant of Blood. Another Convoke card. 6 and a black. Oh my god. Sorcery. Convoke. Let's see if it's worth 7 mana. Covenant of Blood deals 4 damage to target creature or player. You gain 4 life. Here we go. Remember we talked about earlier is 8 life worth convoking. Now you're talking about 7 mana, and it's, I guess, an effective life change of 8 points. Because they're going down, you're going up. But 7 mana.
Can I make a suggestion for a card you should play instead?
What's that?
Gary. You should have thrown Grey Merchant. I mean, it's less mana, much bigger swings. You don't have to worry about tapping your dudes down.
That's true.
And mono black isn't going to run that, and white black tokens might, but I mean, right now that's just like a figment of everybody's imagination. They haven't shown that it's going to be supported enough to make a card like Covenant of Blood actually playable.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just way too much. Way too much.
Even if you're tapping 4 creatures, it's still 3 mana. And at that, it's marginally playable, but I mean, do you really want to be doing that?
And you better
developing your board?
Right, you better kill whatever, better either kill your opponent with this, or kill whatever they're coming at you with, because if you just tap down 4 of your blockers to do this, it's going to be the last thing you do. Or it will be, essentially.
It will be literally the last thing that you do, yeah. So that's probably a pass.
Yeah, I'm passing on it. I don't like it. Oh my goodness. Wall of Fire. 1 red. Creature wall has defender. Defender?
Cannot attack.
Gonna throw it. Yeah, I don't know what deck I would put this in, but for a single red, Wall of Fire gets +1/+0 until end of turn. OMG. It's an 05.
So the first time Wall of Fire was printed was in Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
It has been printed 12 times since M15 being the 12th, and I have never once ever seen it played in a constructed deck. So thinking back all the way to Alpha, which was 1994.
Oh no, Alpha was 92.
92, yeah, because I got it in 94. The fact that Wizards would reprint this now means that R&D should take a look at commons a little closer. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this is no one wants this. No one asked for this. Was there a big contingent outside of Wizards of the Coast going, "Bring back Wall of Fire, bring back Wall of Fire"?
Let's print a red creature. Okay, let's print one that can attack but has fire breathing. Okay. I guess we have to fill a slot.
I was about to say that is the exact opposite of what red decks want to do.
Especially in standard right now, like, you don't want to play something that can't attack in red. I mean,
no.
Come on.
Ridiculous. Anyway, Wall of Fire, no one's going to play it.
No, thank you.
Okay, another weird one. Rot Feaster Maggot. 4 and a black. Creature insect. When Rot Feaster Maggot enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from a graveyard. Interesting. You gain life equal to that card's toughness. So, you're getting rid of something in a graveyard, and you're gaining life. So, what do you get for all of this? For 5 mana, you get a 3/3. Is Reanimator a thing in Standard Pauper?
No. There's no facilitator card. I will just say, Alpha, when I'm looking over 2 cards away, there's another card in black with a graveyard theme, which makes me think that Wizards might be doing something along those lines. So I could see there being a synergy there, but without the proof of the concept, I don't think this is really playable. Because there's not a lot going on with graveyards right now, and that is outside of enchantments coming back and sorceries and instants. So.
Right, and somebody removing all the creatures from your milled graveyard so that they gain 40 billion life.
That card, I think, was a mistake.
Crypt Incursion can kiss my butt.
Good lord. Yeah.
I cannot wait for that to rotate out in October.
Oh, it can't be soon enough. I just can't.
It's ridiculous to have that not in the Innistrad block, but in the Ravnica block, and giving a mill sub-theme in Ravnica. That's a jerk move, Wizards. Thanks a lot.
It was. Thank you for making Standard Pauper milly.
No.
That's it. I'm driving to Renton. Get him.
Yeah. It's time. Okay, now we have signs. No more mill. That's what we're going to pick it. But
interaction.
Even with that said, still feel bad about the last game I played with Demir Mill and staying Pauper Gauntlet. Ugh.
It was well fought. It really was.
I know, but I felt like I went out like a chump.
The thing about it is I watched the third game twice to see where you could have saved time. And the only thing I saw was like 3 turns before you ran out of time, you could have cast not Thassa's Bounty. Yeah, Thassa's
Bounty. Yeah.
I think that was your opportunity to save like 15 seconds, but I don't honestly think that it would have ended up making a difference.
If I had been able to cast it in that last 5 seconds and then just hit F6 like a madman, I may have won. But we're talking 1 second. You know what I mean?
You needed 30 more seconds.
I know, 30 seconds and I would have had it.
And I think that one play could have got you 15, but you needed 30. And really, I mean, you were playing against Godzo?
Yeah, he's not. No, was it Godzo or Armedio?
Oh, you were playing against Armedio, right?
Yeah.
And he was playing a deck that was actually well suited against Emil.
Right. It was. No. This was not going to be easy.
No. And I thought, the fact that you sat down against a guy playing a deck that was actually well suited against your deck and is not a slouch, is it was a good way for Demiri Mill to lose. That's all I had to say. I was very, very you went out fighting and you went out against a really fun deck against a really good player. So you couldn't have asked for more. So
that's true. It was excitement.
It was.
Couldn't have asked for more than that, really. Yeah.
I think by far that was the most exciting Demiri Mill match of all of the Gauntlet. By far, maybe even the best match of the overall Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Even though he lost. So
it was a nail biter. I've never.
So much drama.
Yes, I know. It was crazy. Anyway, let's get on with this. No more remakes. Coral Barrier. 2 and a blue. Defender wall. Coral Barrier enters the battlefield. Put a blue squid creature token with Island Walk on the battlefield. I love this card. I don't even care if it's worthwhile. Squid tokens, bro. Squid tokens.
It's a 1/3 for 3 mana in blue.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a 1/1 with Island Walk. That looks so marginal.
It's still awesome.
I mean, you get 2 power, 4 toughness, 2 creatures, 3 mana. It sounds like a decent card to me. I'm not sure it has a home yet, but I love 187 creatures to begin with, and they don't do them very often. And this one actually seems really good. So
there's more than one card that gives squid tokens too. Squid tokens are a thing. Can you believe that?
I hope they're all little Cthulhu's.
That's so awesome. But yeah, there's another card in the history of Magic. It was blue, very similar, but you could tap it and for blue, put in an 0/1 defender. Very similar, but this is much better. Although you don't keep getting to do it over and over again. But this costs you only 3 blue. I love it.
I like it quite a bit. So. It's simple and elegant in its design.
Yeah. For 3 mana.
For 3 mana at common.
It's almost like the blue version of Attended Knight. Now, Attended Knight was way more aggressive. But what blocks that first striker? This guy.
Well, white's going to be more aggressive, but blue likes this card.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch. A whole bunch. So, I think it's gonna find a home, even if you have to create a deck to get it a home.
Right. And if blue has Convoke, you just put down 2 Convokers. Just saying.
Yes, absolutely, for 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 mana. So, yeah, no, I'm digging it.
Love it.
I think it's awesome.
I do too. Maybe unreasonably so, but once I saw squid tokens, I can't quit you, squid tokens.
You had me at squid tokens.
All right, now here's one I think you and I have already talked about. Void Snare. For 1 blue, sorcery speed, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand.
I've come around. When I first saw it, I was like, not instant, not playable, thank you, good night. But in the first few turns of the game, it's actually a really, really strong tempo play. So I think I actually kind of like it. I don't know if I like it, but I like it. So.
I don't know if I'm in like with it, but I like it.
I'm worried it doesn't like me back.
Right, okay. Exactly. I want to send it a note and say check one, yes or no. But
so the card you were talking about a little bit ago is Wall of Kelp.
Wall of Kelp, yes.
From Homeland. So one of the worst sets of Magic of all time, but it did let you put plant wall named Defender onto play, so onto the battlefield. So
Wall of Kelp.
Wall of Kelp.
How much was it to cost? Was it blue?
It was blue and blue to activate.
Yep, there it is.
And it's 0/3. So
I had a Simic Defender deck that I used to run that in. And Brant was Wall Ramp deck, and that was a part player in that deck.
Yeah, because you just keep pumping out walls.
Mm-hmm.
Walls all day.
End of turn, pump out a wall. End of turn, pump out a wall.
You know what I need? I need more kelp. Give me some kelp.
Who doesn't need more kelp in their life? Everybody needs a little more kelp.
The thing about Void Snare is that if you're casting it on their 1, 2, 3 drop, be it a creature or a creature enchantment artifact, even though we don't get a lot of those, it's almost remand style Time Walk, and I think it's probably just about the strongest tempo in standard Pauper. So I like it.
Yep, not bad.
And I didn't, so I've come around.
Right. It's how much blueness can you fit in a single blue mana? A return target permanent to hand, to me, seems like probably the most you can do outside of Dispel to be really blue.
At 1 mana, yeah. Like, there's not a lot else going on in the 1 slot besides playing a Cloudfin Raptor, which you're not. I don't think you're playing Void Snare in the same build very often.
And we won't talk about Delver.
Huh?
And we won't talk about Delver.
Yeah. If you're talking about Delver, there's better options than this regular Pauper. Let's play Boomerang. I mean, Boomerang to land, make your opponent cry.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it's so good. So good.
Alright. Necromancer's Assistant. 2 and a black. Creature zombie. When Necromancer's Assistant enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard. Mill yourself. Get a 3/1. There has to be something it's enabling. What?
Well, I mean, it enables Rotfeaster Maggot sometimes, but I just feel like there's a theme that we've only seen the tiny tip of.
Yeah, because even if you need Rotfeaster, if it is significant enough for me to want to play Rotfeaster for the 5 mana to then gain X life, what I put in the graveyard, what did I put in the graveyard that I'm exiling that I would rather not play? You know what I mean?
Right. Right, and I mean, that's the thing, is like, are losing those 3 cards worth it right now with our set of information? Mm-hmm. Probably not for a 3/1, but we don't know. There could be good stuff that goes out of the graveyard into the graveyard, and I mean, Necromancer's Assistant kind of just is a good engine for that. So I don't know. It really depends. It's so dependent on what the cards are going to do.
Yeah.
What else is going to come along to support it. It's very much like the triple spirits or triple spirits. That card, I wanted to say, that's just like one of the laziest names I've ever heard.
Triplicate. Okay, we're going to give them 3 spirit tokens. What do we call it?
I mean, Trinity Souls, 3 ghosts. I mean, did the character come in and name it?
They should have just named it 3 spirit tokens.
I'm not a big. I mean, I don't know. It's a core set. It's not an expansion, and they kind of go light on creative, I think, for these. But the flavor doesn't seem super strong so far. Not that I really play for the flavor, but still.
Yeah, I hear you. Alright, so this is a tentative. Gotta wait and see what else is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's look at the last spoiled card for tonight. It is a land. Radiant Fountain. Land. When Radiant Fountain enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. There's a whole cycle of 2 life cards, except this one does not come into play attack like the other ones do. However, you only add 1 mana to your mana pool for tapping it, and it's colorless. So,
I think you draw that comparison immediately to the Chimera Crossroads.
Yeah. And
the thing that makes the Crossroads like silently just a really strong card in decks like Burrow's Kitty and Azorius Kitty,
right,
is that it replaces a plains. So it's a plains with a bonus.
Right.
And as long as you're willing to take a kind of a hit on tempo or play it mid game or late game, it's stronger than a plains because it gives you that little edge against aggro.
Uncounterable life. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just feels like it's going to need support to make playable, and I'm not a huge fan of cards you have to make playable.
Right.
I want them to be playable when they go into my deck.
Yeah, and are you playing this over the Locust that gains life?
In I'm
talking about classic.
Pauper?
Yeah, in classic Pauper.
Oh no! Even now, even without Cloud Posts, Glimmer Void is Glimmer Post. Glimmer Post is still a better card.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And I don't.
You get 4 of those into play. Your last one gains you 4.
Yeah.
So no, not at all. Never. Not even in consideration. So. And I don't know if it's going to have a home in Standard Pauper because it just feels like you need colored mana.
Right, and also what's rotating out in October?
The Guild Gates.
All the Guild Gates are gone.
And they're not going to... I mean, they're too tied to Ravnica to get reprinted in a base set.
Yep.
So that's just not even a possibility. And Wizards, I don't think is going to... They had their experiment with color fixing at common, unless Cons brings something, it's going to be all like that. So
right, unless Cons brings back something like Lotus Petal. Yeah.
I was listening to something, Limited Resources, when they were doing the Vintage Masters. And Marshall was like, "Yeah, I've heard a couple of rumors," and he doesn't know anything extra. He gets to see cards when he writes the reviews before, like, he spoils them, but he doesn't get to go into R&D or any of that type of junk. Right. He's like, I keep hearing that they're going to do a set based around the wedges, not the shards, but the wedges, the enemy colors. And he's like, so I've heard that from a few different people that's the theory about Cons is that it's going to be the wedge set, which when you go and you look and gather, there's not very many wedge cards. There just aren't.
No.
So that would be really cool. Even though it doesn't have the meaning that it used to have, like during like Apocalypse back in Invasion block, but because there's a lot more enemy gold cards out there, but still. Even then, I mean, you're still not going to ever want colorless lands, at least not anytime soon. So this isn't Mirrodin block, folks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 3-color themed decks. I didn't care about Alara, and if this is another 3-color set, I'm probably going to be meh throughout the whole next year. I just don't like it.
I love 3-color decks.
Not a fan.
I like 4-color decks. I like 5-color decks. So.
You have seen me play on a number of occasions. Do I love 3-color decks?
No.
No, I do not. Oh well. But anyway, yeah, it's a neat design, but I just don't think Radiant Fountain has a home. So yeah, maybe one day this will find some corner case that it works in, but no.
Yeah, I want it. I mean, anytime a land does something extra, I want to love it, but I just think the detriment of tapping for colorless mana makes it need help, and I don't want to play cards that need help. So
right, I understand. All right, well, Sam, once again we have reached the end of the show, but we have even more announcements. Why? Because people have a way to reach us. Oh my gosh, we have personalized email addresses. I know, welcome to 1997, but here we are. Our new website, magicgatheringstrat.com. We each have our own email address at the site, which comes directly to us. Mine is Brennon at Magic Gathering Strat. Sam's is Sam at Magic Gathering Strat. YouTube, you're already here, so why don't you just click on the old subscribe button. Click a like if you could. Helps us feel better about ourselves. Twitter at MagicGathStrat. Facebook is /Magic Gathering Strat. So, any final words, Sam, that you'd like to impart on the good people?
Looking forward to the new site. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to more M15 because it's got to be better than M14, folks. It just has to. And Vintage Master starts tomorrow because we're doing this on a Thursday. And I'm going to get my vintage on this weekend. Woo!
Heck yeah, he's going to be the first on the site to have some Vintage Master action.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so looking forward to it.
When you pull that Power 9, that sweet, sweet foil Power 9, I want you to think about me and how sad I will be that I didn't pull that Power 9.
I'm just thinking Ancestral Recall or Black Lotus. Either one. That's all I want. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's cool. Alright, well I want to thank everybody for watching and have a good day.
Thank you.